Blog Talk Radio. Today is Tuesday, January 10th, 2017, and this is Foxology Today. I am Silver Ray Fox, your host. Happy Tuesday, everybody. And I think it's still okay to say Happy New Year. I hope yours is off to an amazing start. And if not, jump start it today, why don't you? Any day is a good day to do something new. Any day is a good day to start in a new direction. Any day is a good day to make a new decision about your life, goals, and plans. Yes, for sure it is. And any day is a good day for futuristic thinking. Yeah, any day is a good day for changing to a new plan. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. If you want to, you can do it. I compel you, in fact. I encourage you. I dare you to go ahead and do the thing that fuels your heart, that drives your passion, that thing that makes you truly happy with yourself and with your life. I say go for it. And you know what? If it doesn't work out the first time or the second time, wait a minute, yeah, or the third time or the fourth time, that happens. Just recalculate, reassess, redo, reinstate, and keep trying until you land where you need to. That's how it's done. You see, the real secret, the real deal, the real secret to success isn't that some people had special reservations. No. It's just that they didn't stop, they didn't quit, they didn't give up until they got where they wanted to be. And the same holds true for everyone, you, me, and all those that be on the path to their dreams. Well, I know someone, I'm getting to know him, who is doing just that. My guest today is a dynamic young man who is following his passion. He is truly someone special. Let me tell you about him. Howard Lee III is an entrepreneur, youth empowerment champion, community relationship pioneer, and a creative arts specialist. He is a spoken word artist and created an empowerment platform to teach the art of poetry called Storybook Extreme. He's written 5 op-ed articles for the Telegraph Herald newspaper surrounding the topic of community relationships, youth empowerment, and community activism. He's impacted hundreds of students and their families during 5+ years within the human service field. He's also taught the nationally recognized and respected by community-based organizations, schools, faith-based organizations curriculum known as Dare to Be King. He has also taught the Phoenix curriculum, an evidence-based program, and recognized by the National Gang Center, OJJBP Bureau of Justice Assistance, Gang Intervention curriculum for middle school, high school, and alternative high school students. He's had training in the nationally recognized Aggression Replacement Training Program, a research-based, proven effective approach for working with challenging youth. It's a curriculum of 30 years of use in high schools and community agencies, juvenile institutions, and other settings. He's also training within the nationally recognized evidence-based trauma-informed care program. He's had 5 years of training with mental illness and behavioral disorders such as ADHD, OCD, bipolar depression, and anxiety disorders, and intellectual disorders. He understands team building, group lectures, youth development and family resources, community action, rehabilitation methods, and youth within the criminal justice system, systemic racism, biases, family team meetings. And in addition, Howard impacts his community by having served on the Human Rights Commission. He served on the Safe Neighborhood Committee as a part of a citywide equity initiative called Inclusive Dubuque, which connects local government, city officials, businesses, nonprofits, education, community members, and faith-based organizations. Howard serves as the local Dubuque branch NAACP Communication Press and Publicity Chairperson. He performed spoken word at Dubuque's annual Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. breakfast and hosted the Power of the Word poetry event for his community. Well, I told you he was special. Not just special, he's awesome. I don't usually read an entire bio, but a bio like this, you'd think this person was maybe 50, 60. Well, Howard is only 27 years old and having done all that. That's why I had to read it. He's doing things in a big way. Welcome to my show, Howard.
Welcome. Thank you very much for the opportunity. And that was a mouthful. I was sitting over here smiling.
Man, you have done quite a bit for a young man your age. I tell you, I'm not just saying it. It's very, very impressive. It's really impressive. I'm excited to have been introduced to you, and even more excited to have you as a guest today. Thank you for taking time out of your schedule to share what you're doing with my audience. I'm just very anxious to have people see how you are fleshing all of this out in the lives of young people. You know, I'm going to start with a question. You obviously have known for a long time what you wanted to do because you've stayed very focused in a particular area of helping youth be empowered, find a better quality of life. And I'm kind of wondering, to have come to that conclusion, sometimes we find our passion through our own challenges and difficulty. What inspired you? Did you come from a challenging background yourself?
Well, I wouldn't say that, and it's pretty interesting because when I came to college, my dream was to become an FBI agent and to join the Air Force. But as you see, that didn't happen. That didn't happen. You know, that was more of a thrill type of job. And I also played football. I came to Iowa playing football, in which that football was my passion during the time. But it was along the lines in 2008, my sophomore year of college, when I was just looking around, I was like, you know what, football, I'm losing passion. And I was no longer interested in becoming an FBI agent. But I was like, I can always help people. I always wanted to do something that I love because I heard a quote when I was about 16, and it said, you know, you do what you love, the money will come. And I knew that, you know, serving people was something that I can do and I can wake up to do without no question, no matter what type of day it is, no matter if it's snowy, rainy, or a blizzard, I'm ready and I'm focused to do that. So from that time, I started to just get active in my at the university that I was attending by becoming a vice president of the Black Student Union, then becoming president of the Black Student Union. I was a part of a campus ministry. I just started, you know, just to share with people the things that are about myself and also to pull some things outside of that's in them outside so that the world can see. So that's what really drove me, and that's what I've been doing ever since because I love it. I love serving people. I love, you know, showing people that, hey, you got what it takes, and it's not that hard to do some of these things because a lot of what I'm doing, people have already done. So I'm just walking according to the platform that they set up and just making it my own because I have a population that I reach.
Yes, that's excellent. Well, you know, that it sounds really, really awesome to me. But you have zoned in on a population based on your bio, and maybe it is a lot more expansive. But you've focused in a population that is critical, working with challenged youth. And I'd like to just take a few minutes to talk about that because I don't know that I think life is getting any less challenging for anybody because it's just pretty incredible some of the things I read every day. I can't even say that I'm less than shocked. I'm usually shocked when I see some of the news information on television or online. And it says very loudly to society that there's something that needs to be addressed. And it's not just young people, but because I feel young people are at a they're vulnerable because they're taking in information, they're taking in culture, they're taking in everything around them, and that's who's helping them become whoever they are. So you deal with the ones who have, I guess, unfortunately, had misappropriation of education and various other things that were maybe at their access, and you're trying to get them back on a course that makes sense, that's positive, and again sets them up for a quality life. Yeah. And I know that can't be the easiest thing because I've worked with kids from alternative school environments as well, and it's not the easiest thing to do because they what they experience every day is just what's real to them, what's up close, what they can touch, see, feel, and talk about. So, what tell us about a couple of the programs that you are working with that are impacting youth, and what are some of those results?
Well, I work for a nonprofit organization here in Dubuque, Iowa, and one of the programs that I specifically run is called Dare to Be King, and it's a nationally recognized program that came from Baltimore, Maryland, and I use that, and it's specifically focused for young black males, teaching them the realities of their life and how to assimilate that to society as a whole and to operate in that manner so they can grow up and they can overcome the challenges that they are facing at the teenage years. And I also run the Phoenix Curriculum, a gang prevention program that is focused for all the youth that I work with, and the youth from the age of 13 to 18 in that range. And it's bringing concepts that talk about respecting authority, dealing with friendships, loyalty, and societal issues in that manner. And one of the things that I really focus on when I deal with the youth is I tell them, understand your power. Because our youth that we have here, they're so powerful beyond measure, and it's a beautiful thing. But a lot of times how I have came in and I learned, a lot of educators that we are to blame, a lot of educators, we don't use what they already have and try to make them focus on that to use those skills in order to make it positive. So, for example, when I say understand your power, that means when you speak life, that's what you'll get. When you speak death, that's what you'll get. When you speak disdain, that's what you'll get. So the words that you use in those dark times and those bright times, those things manifest. And they may manifest in the way or the time and place when you least expect it. So you coming from that, and I work with a lot of youth who have sold drugs before. Now, that's a bad thing for them to do, but I just look at it like, I tell them, like, you guys have a lot of the necessary skills that a lot of us, because I have my MBA now too, that a lot of us who we're trying to run a business, you already have those. You ran your own business. You have commanded hundreds of individuals because some of them who are tied to the gang, they have people who would kill for them, who would steal for them, who would rob them. So they're really running their own corporation. So I'm like, what skills have you learned from selling drugs? How to market themselves by knowing which corners to stand on, knowing what times to be there, how to distribute. They're doing wholesale and retail. When they go and deal with their distributor of the illegal product, they buy it for a certain price, and they push it to the market, which is a retail market. So I try to use those concepts to use what they have to make it make sense to them. Because I can just sit up here and I can just tell them what they should and shouldn't do, but they're not going to hear that. So I try to just really focus on taking what they have and just putting it in front of them and showing them, say, hey, you can do it. Because when I talk to them about business, they say, man, that's too hard to do all that. So I said, so it's easier for you to have to hide out and run from the cops to sell something illegal than to just do it positive and not have to worry about your life, not have to worry about someone trying to rob from you or steal from you, or even not going to jail. So that's because these youth, man, they're powerful and they're smart, but they have some fears, they have some traumas, and it's real to them.
I believe in them too, Howard. I've seen change take place in the lives of young people when you sow the right thing into them and you can show them. I've seen it happen. Are they embracing it as well as you hope to have them to?
Yes, I do. And within myself, I don't call myself a leader, because a leader is chosen by the people. Because in the youth that I work with, they didn't specifically say, Howard, you're a leader. You are our leader. You speak for us. But at the end of the day, I can represent them well, and I will do the justice that needs to be done when I represent them. And what I'm also saying is this: when I speak to them, I don't believe in everybody has to listen to me, because if I'm speaking to 5 individuals and they get it, they're going to be able to speak to their friends who are people that may not listen to me, but they'll listen to them friends. So truthfully, I'm speaking to them, but through those individuals who are listening to me. And that's what really is going to build the leadership and build up the communities and really change a lot of what's going on in our communities with our youth. So, yeah, so they do specifically, yes.
For sure. Well, I know that, you have a very extensive education, background, experience, lots of other things and programs that you've been trained in. And, again, I just commend you for that. But I know you've launched a very important project, the Storybook Extreme. Can you tell us about that?
Storybook Extreme was birthed from, I like poetry. And poetry is one thing, and that's why I call it a story, because throughout my poetry, I'm just telling the story. I don't do the traditional style of poetry in that sense. So I start off with a poetry, so I just started to write. And then it was around November 2016, this past year, I was like, man, these ideas started to come to me where I was like, I want to create a publishing company. And I also want to do a talk radio show. And the poetry will be a platform where I can engage other youth who write, who are thinking about writing, who are just, on the verge of wanting to express themselves, to become published authors, excuse me, in which that they'll become a published author at a reasonable price, and that they'll get the royalties from that. Because the biggest thing is, once we show these youth ownership in other ways, that'll change their life. So I thought, imagine a elementary school student, no matter throughout their life, no matter what they do, if they work with me and become a published author, they can always say that I'm a published author. And I don't know about anybody else, but when I take ownership of something, and when I know that I did an accomplishment, that changes my whole perspective on life. So that Storybook Extreme is just something that is for those who are creative arts, those who want to write, who are thinking about writing, or no matter what it is. They're going to work with me, and they're going to get free training and consultation with me. I'm going to engage their parents as well, because I want the parents to be on board with what I'm doing with them. So because that helps the dynamics and helps build the confidence and brings unity within the family. And they're going to become published authors that I'm going to help them promote. I'm going to help them sell, and it's just one flat fee. And then they're going to get the royalties from whatever they sell throughout Amazon.
That's fantastic. As you spoke about that, and you can reflect on this for me too, because you're working in so many arenas with youth. When I look at what's happening, we will often just kind of blanket it and describe it as challenged youth, troubled youth, and that there are tremendous gifts to be unlocked, regardless of how they may sound or language they may use, or where they may be in life, or how confused or how much in trouble or any of that. There are gifts in these young people that just have not, they often have not had the environment to nurture it. They may not have had the opportunity to launch it, or the confidence to go toward it. People like you were not always, or are not always, in place to stretch out a hand, to have an open enough heart, eyes to see that it's another human being who just has not had the same opportunities as me or some others. But there are definitely gifts that can be unlocked, and that's what I hear you're saying with the storybook extreme is you're creating a platform. And my guess is, Howard, I mean, at 27, there may be 20 other things in another 10 years that you're offering platforms for those gifts to be unlocked for people. At least I pray so, because as you were speaking, I said, oh, my goodness, I hope he just gets grant money so that none of it is a problem for anybody coming up with money for these opportunities, that they can just come in and get what you have to offer. I know that there is another message also that you're wanting to convey. I know you said understand your power, and that's kind of what we're talking about, unlocking the gifts. But I think an important thing, especially if you're coming from a gang environment or, you know, situations where your homies or whatever, you know, the new terms are for whoever you're hanging with that may not be the best influence. You say relationships will change. How is that coming? How do you put that across, and how is that being received by your audience?
Well, I go at them direct. I say, you know what? The friends that you have now aren't going to be your friends later, and I take that because I tell them, and you know, sometimes it's like, what, the guys that I've been loyal with, this and that. So I'm like, listen, I found out who my true friends are when I left high school. And it wasn't because we were all in doing negative things, but it's because, you know, people go off to college. Some folks have families. Some folks are just in different arenas, and some of them are just, you know, exploding in their career fields, in their arena, so that the time that you used to spend with them during those high school days is no longer going to be there. And in order to grow, things are going to have to change. So, like, you know, a lot of and there's three areas which I break down, because I run a whole group on this too as well with the youth. It's the confidant, the comrades, and the constituents. And I say that a lot of the youth, their friends fit into the comrades areas, which that there are people who are going to like you for the things you do. So it's materialistic. So our friendship is based, okay, you are the person that I call when I want to play basketball. You are the person that when I want to call when I want to go hang out, play the video game. Or even you're the guy who I call and necessarily when I want to do something illegal, smoke weed or go do whatever you want to do. And then your constituents are those friends who are against what you're against. So let's say I don't like that person, well, then I don't like them either. And those are those type of relationships. And then your confidant, those are your special individuals who they'll find you, you don't find them. And you're a blessed person when you have one or two of those confidants, because you're not going to have a lot of them. And a lot of the comrades will seem as though they're confidants, but they're not, because those confidants, they're for you no matter if you've been locked up, no matter if you've been sent away, no matter if you're smoking weed and those necessary negative components. But the thing about the confidant is they're not going to follow you to do the negative thing. But if you need them, they'll be there for you. They'll always be stay put, and they're not going to go back and forth. They're going to tell you the truth. They're going to show you love. They're going to show you respect. But you can't pull them into your life. You'll have to elevate yourself into doing the things that they want to do. So that's what when I talk to you, that's what I mean when I'm talking to them about the relationship change. Because then I point out as simple as possible. I said, you're going to be 18 years old one day, won't you? They say yes. I say, okay, your age change. So with your age is going to come different responsibilities, different opportunities, and different platforms that you're going to be able to step in if you really say that's what you really want to do in a few years. Because a lot of them have goals and opportunities that they don't necessarily capitalize on because of the idea of the street code, quote unquote, of loyalty. So I try to hit home on what does loyalty mean to you. I say, what are your value systems? Because your value systems are going to take you further than your friendships will. And there are going to be people, because Proverbs 18:16 tell us, a man's gifts will make room for him and place him in front of other great men. And this is so true to me because these last couple months, I have just met so many different individuals who have really catapulted my life right now, taught me different things, and just been a real true blessing that I'm like, where have you guys been all my life? But I understood that I wasn't prepared.
You understand when the time is now.
Yes. So it's like, and it's like you got to be able to decipher your friendships, because Like, I have friends that I go hang out with, but I also have friends that I do business with. I also have friends who are my spiritual, where I go for spiritual things. And it doesn't necessarily mean that any of those I'm better than them or any of those groups are better, but it's like you got to have people in place for different reasons. I don't go for spiritual advice for my friends that I go hang out and spend time with and those play basketball games, sports games. I don't do that to them. Now, are they able to give me great advice? Yes, on those areas, but that's not the source of where I go. I don't use those as those resources because, like, I'm not skilled in a lot of areas. I know my limitations very well. So don't come to me for certain things, but for this, oh yeah, like youth empowerment, that's what I do. I live.
That's what you do. Yeah, Howard, listen, let me ask you this. Not only you live it, you breathe it, and you're doing some incredible things. We're getting down to just a few minutes left in the show, and I know there's another biggie that you want to get across. So I need you to take about 2 minutes to tell us what you tell those young people when you enforce to them that their destiny needs to be lived out. Probably a lot of them don't even know what that means because they can't see that far in the future. But just give us an idea of what a couple of those points are, and then I'm going to tell everybody where they can get information about you, and we'll have to wrap. So, destiny that needs to be lived out. What's the big message there?
Okay, so when I talk to the youth, I say, how many of you guys had a surgical procedure before? Some of them raise their hand. And I say, just imagine, that doctor that gave you that procedure, they had to walk according to their plan and purpose for their life. They had to walk according to their plan and purpose for their life for you to even receive that procedure at that point in time. So I said, just as well as that doctor was able to align themselves up and to be right on time for that procedure that you have needed, it's just as important as you need to align yourself, because there are people that you need to reach, and there are some things in this world that won't be created unless you step up to be able to walk according to that. Like I say, you see all these opportunities of the cars, of these iPhones, of these different procedures that happen in the medical field. I said, because those are people who walked according to their purpose. And the only thing that's different from them and you is, it's not the education, it's not necessarily the background, it's because they've made a decision in their mind to say, this is what I love to do, and this is what I'm going to do, so I'm going to find a way. I said, because you know how to hustle already. You did it illegally. Now hustle for your life, because there's no benefit for you not to walk according to your purpose. So that's why I tell them in short, sweet, to the point.
Well, you are doing, as I said, an incredible job of it, and this has just been a wonderful interview, and I just so much enjoy talking with you and sharing with the audience the truly amazing work that you're doing, and your commitment to it is just so very obvious, and your passion for it is obvious. And I just want to say that I'm thankful that you're out there, and grateful that you are making the impact that you're doing, and thank you for being my special guest today. Any of you who are interested, and I know you have to be after this interview, Howard's information is on the radio page, but he is on Facebook as Storybook Extreme. He's on Twitter as Motivational Poet. He's on Google+, LinkedIn. He's on Instagram as Motivational Poet. Also has a YouTube channel, The Motivational Poet. His contact info, phone, and email is also on the page, and I'll make sure that my next promo, I will put that information up if he decides that I should put it there as well. Thank you so much, Howard. Again, many God blessings to you, and I'll look forward to keeping up with what you're doing, sir.
Yes, thank you very much for this opportunity.
You are so welcome. You have a great day.
You too. Take care.
And I want to thank all of you for being my guests as well, because when you come in, I think you're just as special as anybody that I've talked to. Please tell your friends about Foxology today, and that I'm here offering up some very powerful, positive information real often. Try to do something every week. And definitely want to have you on board in learning and being empowered together. Until the next time, I hope you have an amazing day. Be good, be blessed, and be awesome.